Hey folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. So it's kind of late in the evening, got the sun kind of messing with the exposure here. But what we're going to do today is we're going to follow up on hive number 17 here. Hive 17, it was a single deep, and we just recently, last week, put on a second deep. And it's a lot of comb that came from the absconded hives that had a lot of wax moth damage in it. So want to get in there and make sure those bees are providing enough coverage on there and they're not causing, or there's not wax moths getting started in there and small hive beetles overrunning it. So just a quick check on hive number 17. Let's get in there and see what we find. Okay, hive 17 entrance there looks pretty good. Let's get in there and see how they're doing with that top deep on there. So we got some bees up here in the top. That's a good sign. Yeah, so we got bees all the way around up here. That's good. So they've really taken to this comb. So let's pull a few frames out and look at it. Oh man, look at the beetles running. Smash this one down in case there's any underneath there. So we just want to make sure we got good bee coverage in here and there's not a lot of pests taking over. So there's a honey frame a little bit, and I see some hive beetles in here. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of those. Got 2 of them. So there are a few beetles in here, but nothing to be alarmed about, at least not yet from what I see. So here's some old comb with a little bit of pollen. So most of the web from the wax moth larva has been cleaned up, it looks like, so far. This has got a lot of honey on it, capped honey. So we've added quite a bit to this hive as far as resources. Last time I opened it, when I popped the lid, I raised the whole thing up off the ground. So there was not much weight to that bottom deep. A little bit of honey there, all cleaned up. Same thing here. Well, I like this hive. It's nice and calm. Unlike that hive number 8 over there. So here's some nectar. So they've actually put some nectar in up here. And I did bring with me a gallon of sugar water to feed this hive if they need it. And I think I will go ahead. And they put some nectar up in here too. So I mixed it a lot thicker in the fall. You're supposed to do 2 to 1 in the fall. And the way I mix it is I fill a gallon jug completely to the top with granulated sugar. Then I fill it up with hot water after that. So whatever that comes out to, that's how I do it in the fall. In the springtime, I'll fill that gallon jug about 2/3 full and fill it with hot water and shake it up. So this is a lot of bee bread and nectar right here. So I think we still got our fall flow going on. And this side here is the same. It's almost all nectar and bee bread. So they've cleaned these frames up nice. So these were the 10 best frames I got out of those 2 absconds. So in my previous video, I talk about how I put them in the freezer, and they didn't freeze fast enough. So the wax moss really tore up about half of my frames. So yeah, I really don't need to go any farther, but I'm going to go ahead and look at all of them. So that's the same there, about half capped honey and some nectar. Thought I might see the queen up here. So this is all capped honey at the top and nectar down there below that. And they're putting nectar on this side. So they put quite a bit in here just in a week. I hope my other hives are putting some honey in those supers I have on them. Some nice fall goldenrod honey. It doesn't have that smell though. So this is almost all filled up with nectar where there was space. Same thing on this side, it's about a third full. And this one out here looks like it's a capped honey frame. So this capped honey is from before. These bees did not put that in there and cap that off. So that's from the other hive that was the absconded hive. So they're doing good. And I see lots of bees down on the frames below, so we're good here. We're good to go. I probably don't need to, but just for grins, I'm going to go ahead and put a quart of feed on here. And there's no feeding stimulant in this. It's just pure sugar water, so I won't make any robbing frenzies going on here. I want to flip that around. Put the honey on towards the inside, because they won't touch that outside till next year probably. And I remembered the beetle traps. One bee won't move. Get out of the way. She wasn't going to do it. Okay, let's get the quart of feed on the front now. Okay, here's our gallon of syrup, and there's no sugar on the bottom left anymore. It's all mixed up good. So I'm going to be using a entrance feeder. I'm going to put it on this side right here. And I'm going to put this little block right here kind of to help protect it from other bees, so they'll have a smaller entrance to protect from robbing should it start. But this pure sugar water with no stimulant in it doesn't have much odor at all, so you don't want to use feeding stimulant this time of year, because the other bees will be over here to get it in no time flat. And you want to be sure not to spill any. You don't want it all dribbling down the front of your hive. Get the lid on it as soon as you can. So I'm going to turn this thing over on top of here so I don't get any outside of here anywhere else. So there, it's nice and contained, so all the sugar is inside. There's nowhere out here bees can get to that except to go through that entrance. So that's it for Hive 17. So previous video I said this isn't a set it and forget it, so we came back and we checked and it all looks good. So this will give them a little bit of boost, a little bit more carbohydrates to help them through winter. Later on in the winter I'll come back. I'll probably feed 2, maybe 3 of these quarts in here to help this hive out. And in the winter or before winter, I'll come and I'll grab the back end and I'll lift it up and see what it feels like. So it ought to have good weight to it, feel like it's at least 80 pounds in here before I call it good. Otherwise, I'll put a sugar feeder on top of this. So that's it for the video. Give me a thumbs up if you would, and don't forget to subscribe on your way out. We'll check you out on the next video. Take care.